I still remember the first time I downloaded Instagram. I was in a stuffy hostel room, somewhere in the heart of Lagos, lying on a thin mattress with peeling blue covers, my roommate snoring softly beside me. The generator outside hummed its tired tune, and the heat clung to my skin like jealousy. I had just gotten my very first smartphone, a cheap, second-hand Infinix from Computer Village. The screen was slightly cracked, but it was mine. And that night, curiosity led me into the world of filters, followers, and fake perfection. At first, I was just a quiet observer. I watched other girls, pretty girls, confident girls, girls with iPhones and Brazilian wigs and lashes that kissed the sky. I watched them travel to Dubai, sip cocktails in Victoria Island lounges, pose next to luxury cars they didn't own. I watched them laugh like nothing in the world ever went wrong for them. And I started to believe that maybe, just maybe, they had figured out a secret I hadn't. One post becomes a mirror that reflects everything you don't have. And suddenly, your normal life starts to look like a punishment. I was just a 21-year-old university girl, studying accounting because my father said it was marketable. I had never boarded a plane, never owned a designer bag, never tasted sushi. My biggest luxury was Indomie with extra egg. But inside me, something began to crack. I wanted more. I wanted what I saw on that screen. I wanted likes. I wanted attention. And so, I began to build her. The Instagram Chidinma. She was confident. She smiled without anxiety. She posed with grace and slayed in every outfit. I started small, borrowed a friend's iPhone to take clearer photos. Edited them with VSCO until my skin glowed like glass. I posted throwbacks I never experienced. Captioned with quotes I barely understood. Soft life or nothing. Catch flights, not feelings. God's favorite. You see, when you start living a lie, you don't just become good at it, you become addicted to it. So I started planning content the way people plan exams. I'd spend 3 hours doing makeup, just to shoot 15 pictures that made it look like I was casually chilling at a rooftop lounge. I'd post one today, another next week, spread them out like I was living a life of endless luxury. Meanwhile, in real life, my ATM card was crying. My real life. It was crumbling quietly behind the filters. I missed lectures. I faked headaches to avoid seeing people who knew the real me. My roommate, Uche, started giving me side eyes. She'd ask, "Babe, are you not going for class again today?" I'd mumble something about online notes and keep scrolling Instagram, searching for the next trend to jump on, the next aesthetic to steal. The craziest part. I began to believe the lie myself. I started looking down on people who posted unfiltered pictures. I judged girls who didn't match their outfits with their captions. I was becoming a monster made of perfection. A Frankenstein stitched together by likes, emojis, and dopamine. Then, I met him. His name was Larry, or at least, that's what he told me. Tall, light-skinned, bearded like all those lucky boys who wear perfume like it's body lotion. He slid into my DMs with a simple, "Hi beautiful." Normally, I ignored those. But he was different. Verified. 30K followers. His page looked clean, vacation pics, wine glasses, yachts, Lagos nightclubs, and those soft captions like, "Building silently, moving like a ghost." We started chatting. It was easy, smooth. He had money, or so he claimed, and he liked the way I carried myself online. He said I looked expensive. That word rolled around in my chest like honey. He called me Queen. Sent me 20K airtime the next day. Told me he had plans to invest in me. I pretended to be everything he thought I was. Polished. Poised. Luxurious. Meanwhile, I was still eating Gary and groundnut in my room, praying PHCN would bring light so I could charge my phone and reply his texts. One evening, he invited me out Eco Atlantic, some event with big boys. I didn't even have transport. I begged a cosmate to borrow me $5K. I wore my roommate's heels and squeezed into a gown that belonged to a girl from the next block. Everything I had on wasn't mine, not even the wig. But I took pictures that night. Pictures that broke the internet. People thought I had arrived. Some would made me like, "Oh on, babe you don't blow oh." One guy said, "You're giving me real boss lady energy." I smiled at my screen. But inside, I was shaking. Because every compliment felt like a debt I had to repay with more lies. Larry asked to visit me at home. I panicked. Which home? The hostel with peeling paint and a leaking tap. The room I shared with 2 girls and 5 cockroaches. I told him I was in between apartments. He offered to book me a hotel. I declined. Not because I didn't want it, but because I knew the price he'd expect after. That was the first red flag. But I ignored it. The second red flag came when he started asking for exclusive pictures. Private stuff. The kind of things that don't belong on Instagram. I laughed it off at first. But then he sent me $100K out of nowhere. Just like that. No explanation. Just for you, my queen. I stared at the alert for a full minute. My hands were shaking. That was more money than my entire semester's allowance. That's when the real temptation began. I wish I could tell you I resisted. You know, I didn't mean to lie. Not at first. It started small, a little edit here, a tiny filter there. Just a bit of glow on my cheeks, smooth out the pimples, and maybe tweak my waistline by an inch or 2. I told myself everyone does it. It's just social media. It's not real life. Right. But that first photo. God. The engagement it brought. People who never even glanced at me in school were suddenly double-tapping my post and sending in my DMs. They were calling me baddie, queen, goddess. And for a girl who used to walk down Ojulegba with nobody noticing her, that attention felt like magic. Like, finally, I mattered. I started staging my life, rearranging my tiny hostel room to look like a minimalist aesthetic apartment. I took pictures near flashy cars parked by other people and captioned them like, "My new baby just arrived from Dubai." I knew it was fake. But they didn't. Soon, brands started reaching out. A hair vendor offered to pay me for a post. I remember screaming like I won the lottery. Me. Chidinma. Influencer co. But I took the money. I wore the wig. I posted. I even did a fake unboxing video like I had just received it as a PR package. The lie. It got comfortable. And so did I. I started photoshopping receipts, yes, bank alerts. I'd post a fake 1.2 million Nigerian Naira's credit alert and caption it, "Passive income is sweet when you sleep and wake up to alerts." My followers believed I was into forex and real estate. I wasn't. I was into lying. And I was good at it. Then came the Dubai trip. I didn't go. But I made it look like I did. I borrowed pictures from Pinterest, edited myself into hotel rooms, beaches, and restaurants. Even recorded fake airport videos using a friend's background screen. Bro, the whole Nigeria believed I was in Dubai living soft life. And when I saw bloggers picking it up, Chidinma slays in Dubai again, it was over. The fake life became real to them. But here's the catch: the higher you climb on lies, the harder you fall on truth. And trust me, my fall was coming. You know what they don't tell you about fake life? It's expensive. Not just in money, but in peace, in sleep, in truth. Once the lies became consistent, I had to start funding the fantasy. I couldn't keep pretending forever, people wanted to see more, no more. So I found a guy. Let's call him Kola. Kola was one of those Lagos big boys, always wearing white kaftans and smelling like power. He slid into my DM after I posted a fake dinner photo at a 5-star hotel. He said, "You've got taste. Let me spoil you properly." I should have run. I should have said no. But the idea of being spoiled felt like the reward for all the lying I'd done. Like I had earned it. He picked me up in a black Benz GLE. I pretended it was normal. He took me to restaurants where I couldn't pronounce the menu, and for the first time in my life, I drank wine that wasn't bought in a sachet. He gave me an iPhone 14 Pro Max, just like that. He said, "You deserve to live like the queen you are online." And I smiled. Because I knew I wasn't that queen. I was just Chidinma. A girl from the slums, wearing an expensive wig bought with a lie. But Kola didn't stop there. He gave me 300k for upkeep. Told me he had a business trip coming up. I used that money to actually travel to Abuja. And that's when I met them. Another group of Instagram buddies. You know the kind, waist like hourglass, skin like melted shea butter, every sentence ends in soft life or nothing. They welcomed me because of my online image. They thought I was one of them. But deep down, I was just a fraud playing dress up in a game I didn't understand. These girls. They had men flying them to Paris, to Maldives. One even had a sponsor in Turkey who sent her dollars weekly. They said, "Babe, you're too fine to be broke. Use what you have to get what you want." I laughed. But I was scared. Scared because I had no real friends. No one I could cry to. No one who saw the real me. At night, I would lie in a hotel bed someone else paid for. And stare at my reflection. Wondering, who am I becoming? But the world didn't see that. They only saw the gloss. The glam. The illusion. And I kept feeding them. Even when it was killing me. You know they say lies have short legs. Mine were wearing 6-inch heels, but even heels can snap. It all started to unravel the day I posted a fake picture in Dubai. I wasn't really there, just used a green screen and borrowed a caption. But someone recognized the background. Voila started. People began to dig. Why is her shadow off? How come she's always on vacation but never tags friends? Even a gossip blog mentioned me, another slay queen faking lifestyle for clout. Who is funding Chidinma? I laughed it off online. But offline, my hands were shaking. Kola started asking questions. Why are people saying you're lying? Are you playing me? He wasn't the type to ask twice. I told him it was haters. But something changed in his voice that day. He became cold. Distant. Stopped replying. Stopped sending money. My iPhone screen cracked, and I couldn't afford to fix it. The girl who once claimed she couldn't repeat clothes had to borrow a friend's shirt for a post. It wasn't just the lies that were falling apart. It was me. I tried to call my girls from Abuja, the Instagram clique. No response. I was no longer valuable to them. My follower count dipped. Even brands who used to slide into my DM for shoutouts disappeared. I was becoming irrelevant. Invisible. A cautionary tale in the making. Then came the desperate phase. I tried dating another sponsor. This one said he wanted to fly me to Ghana. But when I got to the airport, he never showed. He blocked me. Just like that. I had to borrow money to get back home. I cried the entire ride. You know what's funny? I started this for attention. And now all I wanted was to disappear. No more ring lights. No more filters. No more pretending. Just silence. And shame. But life had more to teach me. Because the worst was yet to come. After the airport disaster, I stayed indoors for days. No food, no calls, just the haunting silence of my tiny apartment echoing all my failures. I used to wake up to notifications, now I woke up to death alerts. The landlord knocked every day. I pretended I wasn't home. But even pretense was running out. One night, I sat on the floor scrolling through old pictures. That fake Gucci bag. That beach in Zanzibar, which was really Elegushi. All the lies I sold for likes. What did it amount to? Nothing. Just shame and a shattered image. I got a message from a girl. She said, "Hi Chidinma, I used to admire you. You inspired me to fake it till I made it too." She said she stole her mother's money to buy a phone so she could live like me. Then she said her mom threw her out. She was sleeping on a friend's couch. Because of me. That hit different. I replied, "I'm sorry." She said, "Why? You're still living the life." I realized people still believe the illusion. The curated chaos. The edited lies. I took a long look at my page. All those posts. Smiles that weren't mine. Vacations I never took. Relationships that were never real. Lies upon lies. And it was time. Time to tell the truth. I logged in and did something I never thought I would. I went live. "Hi everyone," I began. The ring light was off. No makeup. No lashes. Just me. The real me. "I've lied to you all," I said. I wasn't in Dubai. Or Paris. I don't own half the things I posted. I made it all up because I wanted to feel seen. I wanted to matter. I wanted to belong. But it's been killing me slowly. People poured into the live. Some insulted. Some cried. Some understood. But for the first time, I wasn't pretending. I ended the live. And cried for hours. Not because of the hate. But because I had finally told the truth. My inbox was flooded. Some bloggers picked up the story. I was trending again, but this time, not as a slay queen. But as Chidinma, the girl who broke the illusion. Funny thing is, I felt free. I had nothing else to hide. Nothing else to lose. But I didn't know then that confession would open a new door. Not to fame. Not to money. But something far more valuable. After the live video, I expected the worst. I thought I'd be dragged for weeks. I imagined the hashtags, #Chidinma the fraud, #SlayQueen exposed. But what happened next shocked me. My DM was full, not of insults, but empathy. Women from across Nigeria and even abroad messaged me. They said, "Thank you for telling the truth." They said, "I've been living a lie too." Some were influencers. Some were students. Some were mothers. Turns out, I wasn't the only one faking it. I was just the only one who admitted it. A lady from a media agency reached out. She said, "We are running a mental health campaign. We want you to speak." I laughed. Me? Speak? To people? After everything? She said, "Because you told the truth. And people need that now more than ever." It was a small event. 25 people. Mostly women. I stood there, heart pounding, palms sweaty. I wasn't in makeup. My dress was from Baligan, not Italy. And still, I felt powerful. I shared my story. Raw. Real. No filters. Just me. They clapped. Some cried. A girl hugged me and whispered, "You saved me." That moment changed something in me. From that day, I decided, no more faking. No more flexing for strangers. No more trying to fit into a world that was built on pressure. I deleted over 300 pictures on Instagram. Started a new series, Chidinma Unfiltered, just me, daily life, the struggles and the small wins. At first, the likes dropped. Brands pulled out. But then, new people came in. The kind that said, I relate to this. I needed to see someone real. You gave me courage. Then the same media lady introduced me to a therapist. I didn't think I needed it, but I did. So much trauma, all buried under filters and captions. We unpacked it all. Daddy issues. Fear of failure. The pain of always trying to be enough. We cried. We healed. I started volunteering. Talking to girls in secondary schools. Teaching them that self-worth isn't in likes. That your value isn't tied to aesthetics. And slowly, I rebuilt. Not my Instagram. Not my image. But my life. I got a small job with an NGO. I started saving, bit by bit. I began to love my real self. The stretch marks. The scars. The undone edges. The silence. The truth. It felt better than any fake Paris trip. One day, I met an old friend, Cynthia. The same Cynthia who said I was wasting potential. She hugged me so tight. She said, now this is the Chidinma I missed. She helped me get a gig at her company, social media manager. But this time, not to lie. But to teach the truth. Crazy, right? The girl who lied online now helps others post with purpose. Sometimes I still feel ashamed. I still remember the lies. But now I use them to help others avoid the same trap. That's the thing about hitting rock bottom. Sometimes, it's where you find solid ground. So here we are. Full circle. From filters and fake life to finding truth in the silence. From rented lifestyles to real love for myself. From pretending for strangers to healing for me. I often sit on my small balcony these days, a cup of lukewarm tea in hand, watching the city move unbothered. No one knows who I am. No one cares what I wear. And for the first time in years, I'm fine with that. You see, I thought Instagram was my ticket out. That if I post just right, caption just clever, use the right filters and geotags, I'd be chosen. Seen. Adored. But what I didn't know was that I was already worthy before the likes. Before the comments. Before the lies. I was chasing validation in pixels when the approval I needed was from the mirror. Let me tell you what I've learned in this one wild journey. 1. Your worth isn't tied to the internet. Your value doesn't rise or fall with engagement rates. Whether you have 10 followers or 10,000, you are enough. Just by breathing. 2. Don't borrow pressure. The people you're trying to impress are faking it just as much as you are. They rent cars too. They use Facetune. They hide pain under soft life captions. You're not behind. You're just being real. 3. Heal before you perform. Don't seek applause while you're still bleeding. Fame without healing is dangerous. It makes you depend on noise to silence your truth. 4. Choose people over persona. The real ones, they don't care if your shoes are Zara or Versace. They care if you're laughing, eating, safe, growing. Find those people. And keep them close. 5. There's strength in starting over. Don't be afraid to delete everything. To disappear. To reintroduce yourself. Sometimes, growth looks like stillness. Sometimes, peace looks like logging off. Now, about my page, Chidinma Unfiltered has grown, but slowly. Not viral. Not overnight. And I love it that way. Every follow is a seed. Every post is therapy. Every comment is a reminder truth still wins. A girl once DM'd me, "I was about to take a loan for BBL just to look like you. Until I saw your video." She said I saved her. But truth is, she saved me with that message. That's when I knew my story wasn't a scandal. It was a testimony. And now, I speak at schools, churches, youth events. Not as a motivational speaker, but as a survivor. A former addict, yes, addicted to likes, attention, escape. Today, I'm addicted to real life. To waking up and not worrying about angles. To sleeping without wondering if my views dropped. To smiling for real, not for reals. If you're listening to this, if you feel like you're living a double life, let this be your sign. You can stop pretending. You can come home to yourself. You can be broke and beautiful. Single and valuable. Simple and still. Spectacular. Because listen, the mirror never lies. It reflects the truth. No hashtags. No followers. No filters. Just you. And sometimes, that's more than enough. This isn't just the end of a story, it's the beginning of something raw, honest, and real. Thank you for walking with me. Through Lagos traffic, Instagram chaos, broken friendships, to healing under city skies. My name is Chidinma. I was lost in the gram, but I found my soul in the silence. The end.